Analyst, Amir Oren. And Amir, even though most Israelis are getting this knowledge about Yossi Cohen from this television program, aren't you in fact the journalist who initially broke the story?
Well, I plead the fifth. But yes, actually, the story was revealed some 7 months ago in a monthly called Liberal magazine, in which the name Guy Schicker and the entire affair were not reported on factually, but there were indications, because at that time replies were still pending from the various government agencies, and it turns out that even now, more than half a year later, no one wants to touch it. So, but basically, yes, in the July edition of this magazine, the affair was first revealed.
Right, and of course it's only the name. Now that Guy Schicker himself is coming out and telling the story and confirming it is the way it's generating headlines. But let's be clear here, the Yossi Cohen's private life is his business up to a certain point. Why this is of interest is the accusation that he leaked sensitive information to this, I guess, lover and her husband. What was that information?
Well, revealing secret information is perhaps too big a headline to put on it. But he was a walking security lapse. And had he caught a junior Mossad officer doing what he has done, he would have kicked him out of Mossad. But obviously, he himself managed to mix business and pleasure, and his private life interjected someone else or two other people's private lives, to the point where Mr. Schicker felt that in order to get justice, he had to go public. Now, a Mossad chief is a globetrotter almost as much as an airline pilot, or in this case, a flight attendant, which is how they met on one of these long-distance flights, and apparently had a good time together in Bangkok and New York and other points, at which time the husband started to suspect that something is wrong here. He confronted Cohen. Cohen tried to tell him that there's nothing there, it's platonic. He's just taken a liking to his wife, he wants to help her out. But again, it turned out that if this is platonic, then old Plato would have probably done what Socrates did and swallowed the poison pill.
Right, and in fact, there were accusations. Yossi Cohen used his position to get a young woman a job who worked for Guy Schicker, and there's some ethical issues involved here, besides the fact he was revealing where his destination was at certain times, which is a violation of protocol. As I said, some senior Mossad officials, ex-Mossad officials, have said, there should be some kind of investigation. Do you think we will see any kind of official investigation?
Well,
here?
Yossi Cohen is a professional charmer, and several people he charmed worked with him in Netanyahu's old office before he was appointed, one of whom was Avichai Mandelblit, at that time the cabinet secretary, and then promoted to attorney general. And he is the authority to which one goes in order to start an investigation, but he protects Cohen. However, Mandelblit is about to retire in about 40 days, and the next Attorney General, who is yet to be appointed, would have no real choice but to look into the matter.
Right. Now, one of the reasons this story is making national headlines here is that Yossi Cohen, besides been the head of the Mossad, is seen as maybe having a future political career. It's been reported Benjamin Netanyahu even sees him as his eventual chosen successor, and Likud voters have said that they would even prefer him over candidates. Does this, forgetting the legal side of it, does this in any way tarnish his political prospects moving forward?
Well, it does tarnish his image. It doesn't mean that Likud voters care about tarnished images. And what you mentioned regarding Netanyahu, citing him as well as former ambassador to Washington, Ron Dermer, as a potential successor, is an old political ploy. Netanyahu doesn't want to go anywhere. He doesn't want anyone to succeed him except perhaps a family member. And just throwing his name into the ring was supposed to cause havoc within Likud with all the other bigwigs turning against Cohen. So right now, it's very sexy. But politically, because Cohen still has almost 3 years to go as a cooling off period before he can enter elective politics, too early to tell.
Right. I just want to mention again that during his tenure, Yossi Cohen had a much higher profile than previous Mossad heads, some of whom were kept secret. He was seen as a key figure in the development of the Abraham Accords, in the relations with the Arab countries, and on the Iran issue as well. One of the reasons.
One wonders how come this high profile came about. How come all of the journalists found out about Mossad operations, and especially Yossi Cohen's credit in these operations?
Right. Maybe a little more discretion in many areas would have been called for on the part of Yossi Cohen.